In this video, we're going to talk about the 10 things to avoid when getting paid. So before starting the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel for future updates. Number 10, not having a plan. The circumstances of the present will determine the trajectory of your financial future. People are willing to devote countless hours to activities like watching television or scrolling through the social media feeds, yet many are unable to commit even 2 hours each week to managing their own finances. It is essential that you are aware of your destination. Make it a priority to sit down and plan out your finances at least a little bit. Number 9, not investing in retirement. There's a possibility that you may never be able to retire if you don't put the work in for your financial markets or in other ways that produce income through investments. It's absolutely necessary in order to ensure a comfortable retirement to make regular payments to designated retirement accounts. Take advantage of retirement plans that allow you to defer taxes and/or the plan offered by your company. Gain an understanding of the amount of time your assets will have to grow and the level of risk you're willing to accept. If at all possible, you should seek the assistance of an experienced financial advisor in order to coordinate this with your objectives. Number 8, paying off debt with savings. It's possible that you've come to the conclusion that if the interest on your debt is 19% and the return on your retirement account is 7%, switching the retirement account for the loan will result in you having more money in your pocket. However, it's not quite that easy. You will no longer benefit from the power of compounding interest. It will be very difficult to pay back those retirement funds, and you may be subject to significant fees. Borrowing from your retirement account can be a reasonable alternative if you have the correct frame of mind, but even the most diligent planners have a hard time putting money aside to rebuild those accounts. When the debt is paid off, the urgency that was previously associated with having to repay it typically disappears. It will be very tempting to keep spending at the same pace, which means you risk getting back into debt if you do so. If you want to get out of debt through savings, you'll have to spend your money as you still owe money to your savings account. Only then will you be able to pay off your debt. Number 7, living paycheck to paycheck. The rate of personal savings for households in the United States was 9.4% as of June 2021. It's possible that many homes survive from paycheck to paycheck, which means that an unexpected problem can quickly become a catastrophe if you aren't prepared for it. People find themselves in a hazardous position as a cumulative effect of spending more than they earn, a position in which they require every single dollar to make and where missing even one paycheck could be catastrophic. When an economic downturn occurs, this is exactly the kind of predicament you want to avoid yourself being in. If anything like this takes place, you won't have many choices. A good number of financial experts would recommend that you retain the equivalent of 3 months' worth of spending in an account from which you can easily withdraw that money. Your funds could be depleted if you lose your job or the economy experiences shifts, which could put you in a loop of incurring new debt to pay off the old debt. It's possible that having a cushion of 3 months could mean the difference between retaining and losing your home. Number 6, using home equity like a piggy bank. When you refinance your home, you take cash out of it. You are handing up ownership of your property to another party. Refinancing your mortgage could be a good idea in certain circumstances. If you can refinance and pay off higher interest debt while also lowering your rate, this may be the best option for you. However, another option is to establish a line of credit against the equity in your property, a HELOC. Because of this, you will have the ability to make use of the equity in your home in a manner similar to that of a credit card. Because of this, you can end up paying interest that isn't necessary, just so you can get your home equity line of credit. Number 5, spending too much on your house. When it comes to investing in a home, it's not always the case that more space is preferable. If you don't have a large family, purchasing a home with 6,000 square feet of living space would simply result in higher property taxes, maintenance costs, and utility bills. Do you really want to make such a big hole in your monthly budget that will last for such a long time? Number 4, buying a new car. Although there are millions of new cars sold every year, only a small percentage of purchasers are able to pay cash for their vehicles. However, if you're able to pay cash for a new vehicle, this may also indicate that you are unable to afford the vehicle. Having the ability to pay the monthly payment does not necessarily mean that one has the financial means to purchase the automobile. When a consumer borrows money to purchase a car, they pay interest on a depreciating asset. This makes the gap between the worth of the car and the price paid for it even larger. Even worse, many people trade in their vehicles every 2 to 3 years, and each time they do so, they end up losing money. When it comes to buying a car, a person may not always have a choice but to take out a loan. But how many customers truly require a large SUV? Purchasing, insuring, and fueling automobiles of this type is an expensive endeavor. It may not be beneficial to purchase an SUV if you don't often pull a boat or trailer, or if your line of work requires you to have one. If you are in a position where you need to buy a car and/or borrow money to do so, you should give some thought to purchasing a vehicle that consumes less gas and has lower costs associated with its maintenance and insurance premiums. The cost of automobiles is high, and if you purchase more automobiles than you require, you may be throwing money that you would have to put into savings or utilize to reduce your debt. Number 3, living on borrowed money. The use of credit cards as a payment method while purchasing necessities has become increasingly prevalent, in spite of the fact that there are ever-increasing number of consumers that are willing to pay interest rates in the double digits on items such as gasoline, groceries, and a whole host of other items that will be gone long before the bill is paid in full. It is not sound advice to do so from a financial planning standpoint. The interest rates on credit cards make the cost of the things that are charged a significant amount of money more expensive. When you use credit, there is always the possibility that you will end up spending more money than you bring in. Number 2, never-ending payments. Ask yourself if you truly require the things for which you must continue to make payments on a monthly basis year after year. Things like cable television, music streaming services, or high-end gym memberships that require you to make consistent payments but leave you with no tangible goods to show for it. If money is tight or you simply wish to save more, adopting a more frugal way of life can go a long way toward fattening your savings and protecting you from the effects of financial hardship. Number 1, excessive and frivolous spending. Many enormous fortunes have been squandered $1 at a time. When you buy that double mocha coffee, go out to dinner, or order a pay-per-view movie, it may not seem like a huge concern at the time, but the costs of these seemingly insignificant actions may quickly add up. Spending just $25 per week on eating out costs $1,300 per year, which may be used for an additional payment on a credit card or auto loan, or multiple additional payments. When you're going through tough times financially, it's important to make sure you don't make this mistake. After all, if you're only a few dollars away from a foreclosure or bankruptcy, then every dollar will matter more than it ever has before. The bottom line: start by keeping track of the little expenses that can rapidly pile up, and then go on to monitoring the larger expenses once you've gotten the hang of that. This will help you avoid the perils of overspending. You should give it some serious thought before adding any new loans to the list of payments you already have to make. And you should also keep in mind that being able to make a payment is not the same as being able to afford the purchase. Lastly, you should make it a monthly goal to set aside some of what you earn for savings, and you should also spend some time building a solid financial plan. So what do you think about today's video? Let us know in the comment box below, and please do like the video and subscribe to the channel for future updates.